Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about Black Panther. This movie came out back in 2018 and it was directed by Ryan Coogler and also written by him. It stars Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, and also he's called T'Challa in the movie. It also stars Michael B. Jordan as the antagonist of the film. He plays Killmonger. And his character, I think, is the highlight of the entire thing. I don't think this movie would have been nearly as good if we didn't have Michael B. Jordan's presence the entire time. Going into the film, I didn't really know who would be the main villain. Andy Serkis's character seemed more like the antagonist, the main villain in the film. But then, of course, when Andy Serkis's character dies, Killmonger takes over Wakanda and beats T'Challa, or Black Panther, in a match. And it is very, I don't know, it was very surprising. Right after it happened, when T'Challa, he fell off the cliff, I wasn't really that surprised, or I wasn't really that worried because it's his film. And I feel like when movies have their main character seemingly die on screen, and especially their first movie, it's pretty annoying because I know he's gonna be back and it makes the entire experience that less exciting. I'm gonna save most of the negatives for towards the end of the review. Like I said earlier, the high point of the film was Michael B. Jordan's performance as Killmonger. But another high point was Chadwick Boseman's performance. He is a regretful king in the beginning and he turns into the rightful king by the end. It was nice to see him just as an honest character and as an honest protagonist with flaws. I already thought going into the film that this Black Panther, he was at the top of his game. I didn't really think anybody could really stand in his way. I initially didn't buy that Chadwick Boseman's character T'Challa, or the Black Panther, I didn't really buy that he was gonna actually be up for a fight with Killmonger. Honestly, there's no reason that in real life a king would even flirt with the idea of going up against some guy who claims to be somebody in the royal family. It just seems, even if it is proven, T'Challa didn't need to actually fight him. He could be like, nope, I'm not gonna even acknowledge this. He could have just brushed it aside. If he brushed it aside, we wouldn't have had a movie though. So he had to fight Killmonger, and of course he had to lose. With that said, I know I didn't really buy that part of the film. He could have just said no, but I do understand where he's coming from. He wanted to acknowledge it. He wanted to be respectful of his royal family. He wanted to be respectful of Wakanda. So he gave in to Killmonger's wishes. And of course we see Killmonger, he is a brutal fighter. I like his backstory. He kind of goes into different societies and messes them up and takes them over and stuff like that. So he has the background of doing this kind of thing. So yeah, Killmonger, he is a brutal fighter, and he is a pretty nasty ruler in my opinion. And I bought his character. You usually don't see convincing villains in the MCU. It's not until recently that the MCU has started to really take notice that this is a problem and they need to make better villains. But of course that was proven wrong when Killmonger supposedly just, defeats him like it's nothing. What makes T'Challa an interesting protagonist is his relationship with Killmonger, and it was a cool dynamic and he seems really threatening. T'Challa's relationship to Killmonger was, I think, the most important part of the film. It was the most interesting and most personal thing to me to watch. That was like the emotional weight in the entire film. It was just watching the relationship change and evolve. And by the end of the film, we see them kind of just have a nice conversation about Killmonger's motivations as he's dying. And T'Challa, or the Black Panther, he wants to take care of him. And Killmonger's like, nope, I want to die. I don't want to be taken in and put into prison. And it's a cool parallel to, I guess, our prison system in the United States, and just the idea of being enslaved in the 21st century is different than it was in years past, but it's this idea of almost institutional racism and imprisonment. I guess it was just a cool aspect of the film, something to just kind of look at and kind of observe that this African-American villain, he has good intentions. In his mind, his intentions are pure. He wants to make Wakanda powerful and able to combat other forces, other Western forces. I just thought that was kind of interesting. What I also found interesting about the film was that these characters, in a predominantly black cast, was just acting normal, and they acted like it was just their film. I just thought that was kind of cool. We don't see many Marvel films or superhero films that are predominantly just a black cast. And I thought that was a really great achievement for Marvel, and it just felt like a natural movie. It didn't feel like it was poorly done at all, and it was addressing serious issues that I think needed to be addressed. Like, it had a genuine main character and it had a genuine antagonist and a very good supporting cast. It still had white characters, which was fine. I love Martin Freeman, I love Andy Serkis, but it's just cool to see that there is a predominantly black cast and the white characters characters are the minority in the film. So that was just a cool dynamic and just different. And it was a nice change of pace for Marvel. And I think it's a nice change of pace for Hollywood in general. One part of the film I really didn't enjoy was the action sequences. At least in the third act. The third act of the film had some of the worst CGI and some of the worst action I think I've ever seen. It was just so boring and it was all CGI. It seemed like there were barely any practical effects. It made for very dull action. Especially the fight between Killmonger and the Black Panther. It seemed like it was all CGI. Like on the train scene, all CGI. And at least that's what it looked like. It didn't look real. It looked fake. It looked like I was watching an animated movie. And I like animated movies, but when it's supposed to be live action, make it look live action or do practical effects. It took me out of the film and I wanted to leave. I felt like I knew how it was gonna already end. So it seemed like a cookie cutter Marvel film in that aspect. You know, they still kill their main Marvel villain as they usually do in the MCU. They always kill the main antagonist and it's like whoop-de-doo. He was there for 2 hours and we'll never see him again. Great, I guess. But he goes out with a purpose, like I said. He doesn't want to be put in a prison. He doesn't want to be, you know, he has a really cool quote I'll kind of put up here somewhere, like right here. Like, I don't remember the quote exactly, but it's really profound and it has to deal with like being locked up and imprisoned. He doesn't want that. And so he decides he'd rather die. And it's not necessarily good, but it is profound and it makes him a more complex villain. He had clear motives for what he wanted to do that seemed ethically in the gray area. And because he wanted to just make Wakanda powerful and able to be on the same level as like the United States or Germany or like China or Russia. He wanted to make Wakanda like a superpower. And especially in the 21st century, that seems like what you would want for a country, especially like a country like Wakanda. So yes, although the action sequences in the third act were kind of boring, I did like the outcome. It was thought-provoking. The movie ends on a high note. We see T'Challa rise back as, you know, the king of Wakanda, as the Black Panther. Killmonger has been defeated and Wakanda is now opening itself to the rest of the world and becoming a world power at the end. And they are welcoming in other entities. Another notable scene was in the casino where there's a huge gunfight and everything. The tension leading up to the actual gunfight was crazy and just a really cool moment. Shuri was also another notable character. She was the scientist in the film who made all the awesome gadgets for the Black Panther, and that was just really cool. In the beginning of the film, we see some history of Wakanda and also the random mineral or the magic rock that comes down and gives, I guess, people superpowers and stuff. It's cool, I guess, just element that the people of Wakanda find. It gives them what they need to make awesome technology, this element, and it also makes the Black Panther. And that introduction is pretty cool. And then we get into some more history, but some more recent history. And it kind of explains Killmonger's history and why he's so angry. The director does a good job at establishing the world that we're in. And it's completely separate of the rest of the MCU in a way. The movie does a good job explaining Wakanda and how Wakanda became to be. The rest of the film takes place right after the events of Civil War. And it's an interesting spot to kind of jump into the Black Panther's story because, of course, we know that the Black Panther was in Civil War. That was our first introduction, but now we get to see his world, which is Wakanda. It was cool to see like a hologram up where Wakanda is and seeing ships fly into this hologram, because if they didn't know exactly where this hologram was, they could have just flown into a bunch of trees and been killed. But I like how they were able to hide Wakanda, basically. That was pretty cool. I appreciate that the person who is the Black Panther, they have to take like a drink of this liquid to become the Black Panther, like that magical element that all of Wakanda uses. It's cool to see that implemented into the film. So it's not just like a random guy in a suit being the Black Panther. In order to be the Black Panther, you have to take this special serum, a special element that all Wakanda uses. And I think that's just really cool, especially when Killmonger wins against T'Challa, and then Killmonger becomes the new Black Panther and he has to take that serum and become the new Black Panther, and it's just wild, you know? Seeing T'Challa getting his Black Panther abilities taken away and seeing Killmonger get the Black Panther capabilities or superpower is pretty crazy, you know? The Black Panther isn't just a guy in a suit. It is the king. It is a superhero. And it was just wild. Especially, I really do like Killmonger's iteration of the Black Panther costume. I will give the Black Panther a 3.5 out of 5. Some might be saying that's just too low of a rating, Matt. And I'm gonna be like, No, it's not. It was a pretty good movie, but it was an average Marvel movie, okay? I can name like 10 other Marvel films that are better than this. It was a good movie though. It is very rewatchable. Maybe I'm just being too harsh on it, but it still had the same Marvel formula that really killed it. I left the theater feeling just okay. I didn't really feel that moved. I liked it, but I didn't feel that excited about it, you know? I liked it. I enjoyed the film, and in general, I enjoy it, but you know, it had a very over-the-top action sequence with a lot of CGI, and then it killed their main antagonist, and then it wrapped up happy, you know? And it didn't leave much to question. It just left it, here it is, it's done. You know, the rightful king is back in place. I did like how it ended though, so maybe I am a hypocrite for saying that, but it doesn't deserve that high of a rating because it seemed like a cookie cutter film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And for that reason, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. But the high points of the film were, of course, T'Challa's Black Panther, but also Killmonger. Those are the 2 high points of the film. And also, I gotta mention the soundtrack, you know, at least the one that Kendrick Lamar produced, the album inspired by the Black Panther. And that thing kept me so excited for the Black Panther before and after I saw the film. But you know, more could have been done. The overabundance of CGI in the film took me out of it. And CGI can be a good thing, but I felt like it was overdone in this film. So that wraps it up for this review. Thank you guys again for watching. I appreciate it as always. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, see you next time.